Hello, welcome to the stream. We are starting a new coaster today. I haven't been able to do much to the park this past week. Back to kind of grinding at work, so not as much downtime. But I did start this kind of transition area, another sub area, similar to the southern swamp that we just finished the other day. This is another kind of like transition sub area type of deal. So yeah, I built the coaster layout. Like I said in the description, I am trash at coaster building. I am not experienced in coaster riding. So if we get some people in here who are knowledgeable about coaster mechanics and coaster layouts and whatnot, then I am definitely open to changing this. But for now, it starts and finishes the ride. It meets all the criteria the game wants me to meet in terms of being able to open it. So I'm going to go with it for now. But yeah, I'm definitely open to changing the layout for sure and improving that. So anyways, I'm just going to get started with theming. Excuse me, I can't speak. Started with theming this, at least the queue, and kind of go from there. Oh, here we go. This ride is going to be kind of based on Tears of the Kingdom, the depths area. So it's going to be kind of like a dark coaster. Or it is going to be a dark coaster, not kind of a dark coaster. It is a dark coaster. But I think best place to start theming wise to kind of like get my bearings and kind of get in the groove is theming up that huge ring thing from Tears of the Kingdom and kind of going from there. I think that would be the best path forward, so that's what I'm going to do. And I have some reference images of that ring up, so I will be referencing that for sure. Yeah, as you come in, say hi. Let me know how your weekend's going. That sort of thing. I'll just be here building. Alright, let's just get into this thing. Alright, so I know for sure like this is gonna be kind of the bread and butter of this part of the build. Like these pieces here. So I'm gonna at least get started with that. And actually let me get a better, if I can, better concept image. Not concept image, reference image. Alright, let me see. Here we go, this is a good one. So maybe this is a better one here. Not that you can see, I don't think. Here we go. Alright, yeah, let's go with that. How do I want to start this? If you're in here, hopefully you can hear me. If you can hear me, let me know. I know last time I was streaming I had the issue where I was muting myself, which I've double checked this time. But yeah, let me know if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, then there's no way for you to respond to that request. I feel like I need different lighting so I can get the colors right here. Alright, so I'm gonna do this. I feel like this will be the border kind of deal. I don't know why I duplicated that, but I did. Let's get rid of that. Hey, Dave. Thank you for the first super chat on the channel. I really appreciate that, man. I just recently, not recently, very recently, was able to get this feature on my channel, so I appreciate that, Dave. And Dave, this is perfect because I feel like you've been clamoring for some Zonai references. So I think this is kind of like the start of that. This is Tears of the Kingdom reference, so definitely gonna have some Zonai artifacts, hopefully scattered throughout this coaster. So yeah, you had said that. How is it going? I know it's a huge learning curve when you first start. At least it was for me. Yeah, how are you feeling with the game so far? I think what I want to do. Cool. Yeah, let me know if you have like the code or whatever. I'd like to check it out. Was it a ride that you built, or was it more of like a theming situation? Man, I kind of thought this was gonna be an easy start to this, but I'm kind of drawing a blank of where to go. So I'm wondering, I'm gonna step aside from the ring here, and I'm just going to do a queue layout to start, and maybe that will kind of jump me into gear there. But I was kind of drawing a blank in terms of how to build that ring. I mean, it's pretty like self-explanatory. And if you don't know what I'm building, the ring in Tears of the Kingdom, if you go to like the Zonai Survey Team base camp, they have that big like kind of floating ring, sort of like ruin structure type of deal. So that's what I was trying to start with, but yeah, it just wasn't clicking for some reason. So sometimes it's just better to leave it aside and kind of come at it at a different point of time. Try to make a street light lamp shaped like a flower. Okay, cool. Starting small, I like that. That's probably the best way to go. I don't want it that much. I don't want to do that. Yeah, no, I get that. That's how I started, like, with the first game. Like, I had no time to play. And really, I didn't even have, like, a PC to play with. And I tried it on console for, like, 5 seconds, and it was just not intuitive for me. So I gave up. But yeah, I used to just watch creators build in this game. I still do. But I've just gotten to the point where I had to try it myself. So I've kind of gone deep in terms of learning the game. I'm just kind of winging this queue for now. We'll edit it as we go, I'm sure. I'm hoping it's a popular ride with the guests, so I'm trying to build it at least semi-long, you know? But no, I totally get, like, not having the time to put into this game. It's definitely a time suck, for sure. It's like I used to have so many games that I used to play, and I just play nothing now. I just play Planet Coaster, honestly. Which is fine. I love this game, so I am happy to do that. I feel like I should probably build an entrance, or place an entrance before I go too far with that. Where should I put it? Right here? Yeah, Dave, for sure. Kind of not totally 100% sure how I want to go about, like, building those artifacts. So I feel like that specific part of it, the interesting color scheme, like you mentioned, is kind of like what I'm worried about in terms of, like, getting that right. Because I feel like there's, like, glowing elements too. I'm not on the right plane here, am I? There's a lot of, like, the glowing elements too. And I tried to use those Viking pieces in the southern swamp area to kind of mimic that, but I don't know if it totally hit the way I hoped. So I need to figure out a different way to kind of simulate that. It's just a weird way to come into the entrance, but whatever. Like I said, this is just kind of like a template sort of deal to get the theming right. I don't know why I can't connect to this entrance. Hello, there we go. Alright, we'll go with that for now. No problem, dude. Alright, and what I'm thinking, so this is like going to be a completely dark coaster for the most part. Or maybe not a dark coaster, but at least like subterranean in terms of like where the park layout's at. Because obviously, like I said, it's based off of the depths and Tears of the Kingdom, so I'm thinking like having basically a central kind of light route situation here, and then we'll kind of see where it goes from there. I don't have a definitive plan just yet, but I definitely want some like guest interaction in terms of like paths. Obviously I have a lot of work to do with terraforming and whatnot in the paths, but that's my idea. And kind of having like a whole sort of shopping sort of restaurant situation underground, while you can kind of watch the coaster zip around and kind of take in the depths, that sort of thing. I was just about to say something else, I don't remember. Also, I started to kind of like get a concept going in terms of like the gloom sort of deal that's in the game and trying to replicate that. I'm not totally sold on this, but it's the closest I could get to it now. I'm not sure what other pieces would help there, but for now, it kind of gets the placeholder done. I definitely have to touch this up a lot, but I just wanted to kind of experiment a bit with kind of like scaffolding and the survey team elements. And like I said, the gloom, I feel like that's going to be a big part of the ride. So trying to pin that down in terms of how I can kind of replicate it. Anyways, let's start to terraform here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So the idea here is like they're going to be climbing up, like the queue that is, they're going to be climbing up the survey team kind of scaffolding thing that they have in that game at like their base camp. At least from what I remember, there was something like that, their base camp in like the Kakariko village area. I don't remember exactly the location. It's been a few years since I played the game, but I seem to remember climbing up like different scaffolding elements to get kind of to the top of the base camp, and then they had that big kind of ring situation there. So that's kind of what I'm trying to go for with the queue. And for the most part, like I said, I want the coaster to be kind of subterranean, not being able to be seen from the top of the terrain there, and kind of having like different points of the ride where it comes above ground. So that's what I'm going for. I actually did have this like somewhat planned out and built out a little bit earlier, but I just was experimenting before I hopped on stream, and I accidentally saved over my last save file, so I have to kind of go at it again. But that's alright. I wasn't super happy with how it was at that point anyway. One of the crystal pieces, perfect shape for one of the Zonai shrine. Yeah. Where are the crystals? Like these ones you're talking about? But yeah, I definitely anticipate using a lot of this stuff. I can't remember. So I built a shrine like kiosk a long time ago. Where is it? This thing? I can't remember. Is this? Oh, it looks pretty trash in this lighting. Is this Tears of the Kingdom, or is this Breath of the Wild style shrine? I can't even remember. Yeah, Jade, for sure. That's sort of how it always works for me, and I anticipated like deleting what I was building anyway. Because yeah, I tend to like build a rough kind of sketch sort of deal first, and then I delete a lot and then kind of go back to it. So I definitely anticipated doing that regardless. Usually I just have like a more of a jumping off point than what I left myself for the start of the stream today. But it's all good. Tears of the Kingdom, yeah. I don't have to spend too much time on the realistic slopes there. Just like to kind of clean it up a bit. think what I wanted this ride to do as well, I wanted to exit out into a gift shop. I think that would be a good opportunity to have that be within the depths. So like have the exit come down here. So I think I'm going to do that now, because then I can plan for it to come out here and have like a cave sort of situation. So let me throw that in there. Oh, I gotta place the exit first. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start it from this side, from where I want it to get out. Come out, I should say. Something like that. Maybe even going down a bit would be better. Hopefully that doesn't mess with the track too much. Yeah, I can't wait to start Gerudo Valley either, Dave. I've been like itching to do it ever since I started this park. I just haven't had a good concept to start with. And I think what I want to do, and I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but I want to do like a dueling coaster to simulate the Twin Rova boss fight in the Spirit Temple from Ocarina. I'm just, like I said, I'm trash at building coasters, so I really don't know how I would even go about starting to build a dueling coaster. I get, you know, I have a hard enough time just building classic, just normal coasters, so kind of procrastinating there, but it's coming soon for sure. Too close, huh? Oops. If I do this, that'll work. There we go. Alright, so it connects there. Which real estate are we looking at here? Uh-oh. I think my game's crashing. That's fun. This is like the third time that's happened to me today. Ay, ay, ay. There it goes. Let me jump back in the game. Yeah. Dave, you should see the amount of save files I have in terms of backups, especially the way I've been kind of editing my videos lately has been kind of like showing it in phases. So I basically have a save file for each phase, so that's a good thing. So I started a park like way back, and it wasn't Zelda themed, but I got not super far into it, but I was pretty happy with the start of it, at least at that point in my skills in Planet Coaster. And then I saved over the entire file, and I didn't have a backup. So ever since then, I've been like making sure I have multiple backups to the park. But yeah, this game has been crashing a lot on me lately since the last 2 updates. I don't know why. So definitely been conscious about having backup save files. Ugh, I have to do that whole queue again. Or not queue, the whole path. That's annoying. How did I have it? And then down here. Yeesh. Come on. There we go. Nope. That wasn't it. So Dave, have you started like a full-on park yet, or are you just kind of still getting your bearings with the game before you tackle a full park? Oop. Oh my goodness. Where did I go here? There we go. Just experimenting. Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably the best way to go about it. Alright, this is not going as smoothly as the last time before my game crashed. I gotta go down one more level to connect properly. That's cool, yeah. I think building like characters, your own characters, is the hardest. For me, it's the hardest part. Like building animatronics and stuff. So building a plushie, I think that will get used to like the controls and whatnot. What am I doing? Alright, that's not gonna work because I need it all flat. Unless I do this. Nope. Alright, let's go with that for now. Let me try to fix this. That would be cool. That's a concept I haven't really seen much of. It's a little cleaner. Obviously have a lot of work to do. In terms of making this a gift shop, I'm gonna have to expand it out to here, obviously. But at least I got the start of it. Kinda can go from there. Alright, now what? Hey Trent, what's up, my dude? Yes, I have all the DLCs thus far. just bought the newest one, the what is it called? Silver screen. Oh, was that question directed to Dave? I don't even know. But if you're asking me, yes, I have all the DLCs at this point. Alright. Start with the rockwork. Can you make an RE motion? Not super sure what you mean there, Trent. Okay. The oh, I see what you're saying. The RE motions and track rides. Which one is it? This one? Oh, with the new... Oh, is this the newest track ride that they added? Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin with this. I definitely want to use it. It looks interesting. I'm not sure how I would at this point just yet. Yeah, this looks pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. I can see a lot of possibilities with it. I just, yeah, like I said, I'm not totally sure what I'm gonna do with it just yet. Need a lot more planning before I jump into that one. Sorry, I just wasn't sure what you were talking about there, but. Where's the track? Because I want this to be not exactly this. that's annoying. Didn't want it to angle like that. Come on. Oops. Alright, that's good enough for now. Yeah, so I really want like this whole track to be covered. Just like have like a crater situation here where you can kind of see the coaster pass underneath you as you're approaching the boarding station. So yeah, I'm thinking making a whole kind of like cavernous section of the track here. So maybe that's the best way to start with the queue. My go-to start these things are these rocks here because they're so huge and there's like different levels to them. It's a bit easier to kind of work from that, which just happened. I usually turn on random. Here. Ah, good call, Dave. Good call, my friend. Yeah, look at how many save files I have. It's just like so many. I'm actually going to start a new one here. This will be phase 6. Hyrule Park 3.0. There. Alright. Where were we? Still gotta mess with the coaster colors too. So obviously I'm not gonna keep it purple and orange. It doesn't make any sense for what I'm going for with this build. But I tend to be, that tends to be like the last thing I do with a coaster or a ride, track ride is I build it out first, theme it, and then change the color scheme. Probably get the train here, kind of get a feel for how big it is. All right, let me see. Oop. Haven't had many problems with crashing. It's making mistakes. You're one of the lucky ones, or maybe I'm the unlucky one. Maybe I'm the only unlucky one. But crashing has been a huge problem for me lately. Where for the longest time it wasn't. Like when I first got the game, I didn't have any issues whatsoever, really. But for whatever reason, these last 2 updates, the crashing has been giving me some trouble. That doesn't seem safe. want that. Oh, did I mess this up? Definitely not in love with the start of this, but I feel like I never am when I start something new. So I just gotta keep going, and then I'll fix it once I get a substantial amount done. Yeah, for sure, Wyatt. Yeah, before I saved over my last file, like I had built the coaster with this like flattened basically, so all of the coaster tracks were kind of cutting out some of the terrain. But yeah, like I said earlier, I saved over that file. So luckily I had saved the coaster layout as a blueprint before I saved over that file, so I was able to just grab it from the blueprints and plop it in here. But I think it just seems like it's so much harder now that I don't have the terrain carved out already, and I can kind of fill in rather than cut out, if that makes any sense. But I imagine a lot of this underground part is going to be completely changed by the end. Like, this is super early. Like I said, I want to have like kind of like a cut through from where are we? Back of Dompe's graveyard, and it kind of goes underground here, and I want that underground sort of path to continue over here, and then eventually it transitions into the depths of the Tears of the Kingdom over here. So that's kind of what I'm going for, and I don't remember what I was saying to get to this point, but yeah. Just cut out a bunch of terrain here. Leave that for now. Yeah, well, I'm kind of on the same page. Like, I think it's almost a blessing in disguise to save over something, because then you can just do it better. I mean, it doesn't always come out better for me, but more often than not, I feel like the first go is a rough draft anyway. Like, this is a very rough draft right now. And I can kind of come back to it later and tweak it and completely delete certain parts of it. But at least I have kind of like a feel for what I want and how it's going to work in the kind of the footprint that I gave myself. So I guess that's kind of the way to look at it. What I have to think about is how I want this to pop out. And yeah, that's for sure. That's a good way to look at it. Where did I go with that path? Oh, here it is. Alright, so it comes out here. Just cut out the terrain so I can see how... Oh my god. Probably want to go up here and over, I'm thinking. Come on. Don't know if this is going to be enough clearance, but let's try it. It might be. Yeah, I can't see anything I'm doing with this underground situation. Alright, my idea is to have it pop back out into Goron City. So, gonna have to move this giant boulder. That look alright? Might work. Oop. Alright. We'll leave it like that for now. I just want to have some rough idea of kind of how I can build this path. But I'm imagining that there's going to be more of like plaza areas down here. Like I said, I want to build it out to be kind of like a mulling around area underground in the depths, and have kind of like a light route from Tears of the Kingdom, a light route situation here going up to the cave ceiling, and maybe having like the restaurant. It's kind of centered around that, you know? That's kind of what I have in mind. But, like I keep saying, that could change. And it probably will change. Maybe you can make your own entrance sign in the Zelda font using the program. Upload it to Billboard. Yeah, I could definitely try that, Dave. I just don't know how thrilled I am with how the billboards come out in terms of like I'm trying to find... I just used one recently. Oh, you know what? I deleted that. Did I save it somewhere? No, I don't know where it is. Yeah, I'm not super like thrilled with how the billboard quality is in terms of the images. So it's definitely worth a shot to see what it would look like. Because I agree, like I think having some of the Zelda fonts in the game, or in the park I should say, would be a much needed addition. So it's definitely worth a shot. I'll give it a shot and see what it looks like. Would look good at night. Are you talking about the underground? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm like envisioning. Nighttime lighting. Kind of getting that ambiance going on. Maybe having like over here be the restaurant where it's kind of clear of the tracks. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get to that point. Alright, what do I want to do next? This is like a very early stage of the build here. I'm just kind of messing around and see what sticks. So apologies that this isn't like a huge progression in a build this time around. Yeah, I haven't had a ton of time to play the game throughout the week, so once I finish that southern swamp area, what was it, last week, I kind of have just been toiling around. Actually, I started building a somebody had recommended doing the bagpipes thing that Deku Scrub Link has in Majora. So I started messing around with that. Not thrilled with the limbs situation, but if we take away the legs, like, this is halfway decent. Oop, not the body. Jeez Louise. I mean, in terms of what you can do in this game, like, I'm pretty happy with how it came out to that point. But yeah, I gotta redo the arms and the legs, or at least tighten them up a bit. That's kind of what I've been working on, just like this coaster layout and some starts to the animatronics for that dark ride in the southern swamp. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is very early in this part of the build, in this part of the park too. Thank you, Wyatt. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm kind of nervous how all those animatronics are going to come out. I feel like that's a huge part of that dark ride, or will be a huge part of that dark ride. So I've been kind of procrastinating on starting it, but I figured the Deku Link would be the easiest one to start with. And yeah, I was pretty happy with the start of it, so. Like, Gorons look more like dumplings. Yeah, I feel you there. Should see. Let's see if I have them in here. My first go at Gorons. Oh, what the heck? Yeah, like, look at this monstrosity here. This looked cool from behind a little bit, but yeah, I wasn't happy with it. Anyways, we won't look at that anymore. I definitely need to improve on the Gorons before I add those to Goron City. But I think I could do a lot better than those attempts, because that was like a year and a half ago when I tried those. A lot better feel for the pieces in the game at this point. Oops. Come on. Six out of 10. I'll take that. You're a kind grader. Because, like, one of the things I want to do in Goron City, as always, my mind goes to Ocarina, but have, like, the big Goron the big Goron sword and kind of having something, maybe a flat ride based on that, and having him as like overhanging over the flat ride. That's my idea. But yeah, I need to get better at making Gorons in this game before I can do that. One of the reasons why I haven't gone back to Goron City just yet, the other reason being I kind of want to completely overhaul that area, because I think I can make it a lot better than the start of it, or how the start of it went. So that'll be a big project, I'm sure. Okay, almost have all the track dug out here. Yeah, sorry guys, this isn't like the most interesting stream ever streamed. I gotta hop off in about 5 minutes and go help my wife with the kids. She's nice enough to give me a break here today in the afternoon, but I gotta go back there. Yeah, hopefully, I'm hoping like next week I'll have this in a really good spot to be able to show something in like either an episode, or maybe jump on stream again with something like a little bit more kind of finished and built out that we can work with. But I figured I'd jump on while I was here. Oh, Brittany says to take another 10. Okay. Thanks, Dave, and thanks again for the super chat earlier. And congrats on being the first one on the channel. And good luck with your endeavors in this game too, that you just started. Definitely curious to see what you come up with. Eating junk food and watching TV. Sounds like you. Glad to hear it, Dave. You made my day. Thanks, man. Thanks, Wyatt. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Cool. Well, yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Like I said, I'll be on hopefully next week at some point, either with a stream or a video. And this will be a lot more finished next time you see me. Alright, later everybody. I'm still here because I don't know how to turn the stream off. There we go. Alright, bye-bye.